Hey, how we doing today? Got here, see a few people here in the audience. Mad Dog, welcome in. Oh no, it's Mike, Down Under Maker, Pat. How y'all doing this evening? Or in the case of Mad Dog and Down Under, this morning. Right, as we normally get our stream started. Got the Mountain Dew, going Baja this time. And Mike, since you're in here, I'm going to have James switch to the overhead real quick so I can get this out of the way. That's our hair tie today. Okay, so let me just get a drink here because I've been waiting to open this thing up for a bit now. I'm gonna let a few people, give it a bit longer for people to come on in. let's see. Been doing a little bit of tweaking off stream, mostly to somewhat familiarize myself with stuff. One of the things I did is I sat through and finally went through the color options on Mainsail and adjusted the colors. So you'll get to see that here in a bit. Let's go ahead and end the poll. So looks like half of y'all sit here and get shipping delays and for almost everything, and half don't. Okay, so up here on stream, I've just been working on kind of getting the chamber a bit heat soaked while I've been prepping for the stream, so that way we don't have to wait for it and everything as long. Went through, and last stream we had the issue with the mesh not saving, and I'm pretty sure it was Down Undermaker who mentioned that there was a button that says save all. The ZZ Top wannabe and the faceless voice accomplice. I'm sorry, Down Under. But there you go. There's a reaction to it. I mean, I'd love ZZ Top money. That'd be nice money. But I'm pretty sure it was Down Undermaker that sat here and told me that there was a save button, and you know, I didn't see, you know, I had streamer brain. I didn't see it, and it looked like it saved automatically, which it didn't. So once you do the bed mesh up near the top of the screen, there is a button that says save config, and that's why the mesh wasn't saving. So I went through, instead of making you guys sit through doing a mesh again, I do have that mesh done. If James, you want to switch over to the computer here real quick? So you can see we changed our color scheme now. We actually have, I found the official hex code for Ubuntu Orange. So that is the background color for the logo and all the elements on Mainsail. And if we go here into our heat map, it's actually saving now between loads, and we have a 0.088 millimeter range. So I'd say that's pretty good for flatness on a bed. Been talking to some people, and they're sitting here saying, you know, hey, they're working on like a 0.1 or a 0.2, and I'm like, so 0.088 I won't sit here and complain about. So went through, looked through that, got that actually saving now. So where we left off last stream is, you know, we weren't getting bed adhesion, but of course we didn't have the mesh, so it couldn't counteract that. So what I'm going to do is go right where we left off last stream and start with the flow calibration print to sit here and see if we can get, because those are what didn't stick last time. So we'll sit here and tell this to print, and we will go upload and print. Go back to our dashboard, and we are heating up, so we'll see how that goes. But so again, we're gonna kind of be doing a tune and chill stream. I won't say a print and chill, because we're not actually printing any models today. We're just printing out calibrations. So we'll see how it goes. So, you know, this will also give me a chance to interact with you guys more in chat, so I'll be paying a bit more attention to the chat window than I normally do, because most of this is going to be waiting for this thing to go through and do its next print.
And for my sake, I hope this is the last time we have to do this on stream.
Gergman, how you doing? Yeah, James is getting tired of this printer. He really wants to move on to the next project. Let's see, you can also just turn on adaptive mesh on the slicer, start G-code. It will just do the mesh in the area of your print. Gergman, when I do get Carto installed, I'm definitely going to be doing that. With Clicky, even an adaptive mesh can sit here and take a bit. How you doing, Howie? Mike, you just started a 30-hour print for a gift for your spouse's birthday Thursday. Well, Mike, I'll probably see you in the stream, in somebody else's stream, but if I don't, tell your wife happy birthday. I've never met her, but hey, people deserve birthday congratulations and everything. Or as my partner says, congratulations on the day of your hatching. Let's see, Gergman, you've been fighting with an Inform Max for the last couple of weeks and your wife is frustrated for you not getting it working yet. Yeah, that seems to be the general thing in my house. I've learned in my marriage, I don't own anything until there's a problem with it. And then it's mine. You know, hey, look, you know, you sit here, the shelf is working perfectly fine. A little bracket breaks on it. Go fix your shelf, honey. So, you know, oh, has anyone seen my cat? Then the cat sits here and gets sick on the floor, and it's go clean up your cat's mess. So, yeah, I've learned I don't own anything unless there's a problem with it. Then it's all mine. Oh, well, down under. I hope I'm not the cause of the anger there. But we're okay. So the bed has heated, so we're now heating up the extruder. So we're waiting for this thing to do its thing, and then home. I've really got to fix that where it's the exclude object is not turned on. A 30-mile round trip in heavy traffic. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do that either. Let's see here. Mike, you just discovered you have 2 spare Pi 3s lying around. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find a use for 2 Pi 3s. I don't think you'll have to look very hard. All right, so it looks like we're starting the homing process. Something I've been told, and you know, if you guys can confirm it with me, you know, this thing has that nice, the Bowden tube has a nice little, or the PTFE tube has a nice curve to it. I've been told just soaking it in some warm water for a bit, you can use that to straighten it out. If that's true, that'd be awesome. Let's see here. Let's grab my drink here. I did find out through the mesh that back corner that it just finished doing does seem to be my low spot. And of course, it doesn't like a corner for once. We can slide down so you guys can see what it's doing. Down Undermaker, you are really insistent me on going CAN bus on this. I'm probably going to keep it USB for now. Eventually, you know, you might talk me into CAN bus, but I do want to go umbilical on this because at this point, the cord is pretty much set up for umbilical. All right, so we're docking. I've also, the other thing I did, so I also increased the purge line because I was getting where it wasn't purging for a lot of it. And I do not seem... Nope. We're gonna stop that. Okay, I think my Z may be a bit off because it almost sounded like something was hitting there. Let's cancel that print. And raise my Z. I'm just looking there at the nozzle. Not really seeing anything, but yeah. Okay. So let me take this tool and we're going to go to the middle. I think. Because I left the filament in there, I think the filament might be a bit wet. I'm just going to extrude 100 millimeters here. No. I think we might have a bad... I'm hearing almost a skipping sound when it did that extrusion. So I think my tension might be off.
Did you break something?
Probably. All right, let me come around the front here so I can get a better view here. Checking that tension there. Feels pretty good. Let's actually... That's got it gripped pretty well. Let's just do another extrude here. And to those that are wondering, the door hinges are on their way. The United States Postal Service decided that my package that was supposed to be here yesterday or today is now going to be delivered tomorrow.
Hey, it's still better than DHL.
You mean the one where it sat here and went back to the country of origin twice?
That's the one.
Okay. Let's put that there. And let's just do another 100 millimeter extrude, see if I still hear that clicking. We're going to heat up the nozzle. at 245. Let's see here. Let me read the chat here. Let's see here. Hot water can help. Cable chains are a liability. Yeah, I do. That's one of the things I do want to go to the umbilical four. Down under, why CAN bus versus USB? Bergman, the reason CAN bus versus USB at this point is, I'm familiar with USB because I work in IT. And it's been working. I'm not opposed to going CAN bus, but at this point I'm still learning myself, so one step at a time. Let's see here. Let's try doing our 100mm extrude. So down under, I probably could have printed it in this thing. Give me a second. All right, I'm not hearing that little clicking anymore. So let me go and grab. Let's move our Y back to 225. That didn't help. Okay. Let me grab a little purge poop. And hey, James, can we get an overhead?
This guy making me do my job. How dare he?
Oh, let's go.
Hey, projects, how you doing?
I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, I think the Z, now that we have that mesh, might be a bit low because I can't peel that stuff off.
Ooh, I want lasagna.
Hey, projects, how you doing?
I like to call it lasagna.
Go around front here. I'm just gonna pull that build plate off here. Just to see, because that is pretty in there. I'm gonna get some of my isopropyl alcohol. And the cloth just to see if
You are just all over the place today. I don't know if I've seen you walk this much on stream ever.
yeah, I know. Before I could sit here and just sit back there. Let's see here. Kenneth, how you doing? Yeah, believe it or not, I think now that the mesh is saving, I think our Z offset is a bit too low. Because that is not wanting to come off.
That's what they want you to think.
Okay, so I'm going to raise that Z offset a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, projects, I would love some lasagna. And yep, that's how he said USPS delayed the shipping on it. So that's why the door parts aren't in here yet. Get that back on there, keep that heat in there. Let's see here, Kenneth, hi. Yeah, pasta's a Gergman. That's a big thing to miss when you're trying to lose weight.
Speaking of pasta, we had some amazing ramen earlier today.
Oh yeah.
Nice and spicy. Not overly spicy, but enough to kick you in the butt.
Mike Down Under, if I was 215 pounds, I would be happy. All right, so let's try. You know what? Let's do the cube so we can do that live Z offset here. Because that's where we left off when we couldn't get that mesh to work properly. So let's get this Z offset kind of dialed in. And then we'll try printing the other. You don't recommend your weight loss program, Mike? Oh yeah, Howie, this was actual, like, traditional, like, well-made ramen. He had a tonkatsu ramen. I had a shoyu ramen with the soy eggs in it and everything, bamboo shoots. Mine actually had Naruto in it, which, for those that don't know, is not the name of the anime. He's named Naruto, but the little spiral, white and pink spiral things, which are actually fish cakes that are in ramen, are called Naruto. All right, see you back in a bit, Down Under. I'm just waiting for this thing to heat back up so we can print this nice flat 0.2 millimeter sheet to tune in our Z offset. Because that was definitely a bit too close. I think that might have dug into the bed a little bit.
So you did break something.
Yep. Gergman, I thought there was a... I thought Maryland was known for its crab shacks. I mean, Maryland blue crab and Old Bay seasoning. Ooh, I want to go to South Florida and go to my old crab shack that I used to go to.
I want sushi.
Sushi would be good too. Okay, so the state is for the crab houses, but your individual city. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of soups out there.
And you'd be right.
Down Under. Down Under, we can't take you anywhere. Okay, so the bed's just working on heating up, or heating back up.
Also, as usual, I changed some settings on both the mics. Let us know if it's any worse, any better, all that
Yeah.
fun stuff.
James is always tinkering with stuff, so if you guys notice any changes between streams that are better or worse, let us know, because
hopefully I got rid of the echo on my mic. We'll see.
Gergman, that's pretty accurate.
I know at the end of last stream I had a little bit of an echo. I'm not quite sure why, but I changed a few things and I think it's gone, so that's good.
Yeah, so yeah, Florida is definitely up there like Australia. Everything wants to kill you. I mean, I've had this conversation with Down Under and Mad Dog, you know. They may have the deadly snakes and all that, but we've got the world's deadliest tree here in Florida. If you guys have never heard of it, it's called the manchineel tree, where you can't cut this tree down. You can't burn it. You can't stand under it in the rain. You can't touch its sap. Like, everything about this tree is just, I'm gonna kill you. And you try to get rid of it, it's, I'm gonna kill you even harder. Like, if you ever go to Florida and there's a sign, you see a sign, you know, hey, don't stand under this tree. There's a reason it says that. I mean, it has little fruits on it that they literally call them death apples, because the fruits are toxic, the sap is toxic. Standing under the tree, water coming during a rainstorm, the water falling off of the leaves and hitting your skin is enough to cause a reaction to the toxins in the tree. Not even touching the tree, just the water falling off the leaves. How about you got tornadoes? We've got tornadoes, bigger brother, hurricanes. But I will say the tornadoes scare me more, because at least hurricanes, I've got at least a week's notice of them coming. Tornadoes, on the other hand, no, they're gone pretty quickly usually. So I'll take the hurricanes over the tornadoes. No, the Disney bubble, yeah, Gergman, the Disney bubble is a real thing. And you, like, when you're driving in that area, you know instantly once you've left that bubble, because the prices of everything drops. All right, so we're doing our home. Gonna do our gantry level. And then I'm going to let James talk to you for a bit once it does this, so I can pay attention to this.
I don't want to do that. I got other things to do here. Come on now. Don't you know my time is valuable over here?
It is? I thought it was I thought it was free. Isn't that why they call it free time?
No, I don't think it is.
Okay, so we had our quad gantry successful. Okay, now we're going to come over here and start this print. No, we need to go up on the Z big time.
Well, time to get a new bed. There goes your 0.06 bed mesh.
Okay. Z offset was definitely off. Okay, I'm just looking. James, if you can do me a favor and talk to the audience real quick, because I do have to pay attention to this right now.
Nah, you don't gotta pay attention. You're fine. Well, how's everyone's day going? I'm not really great at this. This is why I'm not the one on camera. Anyone have any stressful days? Anything they want to vent? We can use this as a group therapy session. No, Havoc, you can't have $1. I'd have to have $1 to give you $1. Just because I'm not qualified doesn't mean I can't listen. I'm not qualified to deal with anyone's problems, let alone my own. I
Getting closer.
have no idea what's happening right now. Just saying. There's a reason I'm on this side of the camera.
I'm just going through. James, I'll educate you because I'm pretty sure everyone here knows this, but I'm adjusting my Z offset live in these.
Yes, it is printing. That is exactly what it's doing. That's the only thing it's doing is it's printing. Don't need to know why.
I'm adjusting the Z offset live to take a look at my squish and make sure that we're not getting any big valleys or anything.
Another thing I changed is I tried to stream in 4K tonight, but YouTube said no. Apparently I need to change the setting on YouTube side, and I can't change it now that we're live, so it's going to have to wait till next week. You guys get 1440p this week, but you have to wait till next week to get 4K. So, blame YouTube. As you do. It's printing, it's printing, it's printing. It's still printing, it's still printing, it's still printing. I think the main issue I'm having right now with 4K Down Under Maker is I didn't realize that the low latency mode doesn't support 4K. So I have to switch it to normal latency, but I can't do that while I'm live.
Okay, yeah, that one's looking a lot better, so we're going to tell it cancel that print.
What the heck? I didn't change anything. I don't know why I would. Let me take another look. I swear, this mic is going to be the death of me. Maybe this time. Ooh, that is unsatisfying.
That is. I'm going to go around front so I can get a better angle instead of reaching in from the top.
That's what she said.
Okay, we're going to tell this thing
I'm
to cool
just
down.
Waiting for one of those doors to just fall off and completely scratch up the acrylic.
We'll let that cool for a bit. Okay, we're going to let that cool for a bit and see if it will release from the plate
It does not want to come off right now, does it?
as I hit the air conditioning button.
Spatula? The only spatula he has is the one he's been told multiple times not to use.
Yeah, the only one I have is the BQ scraper, which I've been told not to use on the bed. So when I'm over here down under, he's probably going to have a reverb because he's probably picking up on both mics.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's this mic is going to be the death of me.
Okay. Which way, James? All right, so I've got a little plastic spudger here that I'm using just to get up under.
I think it has some pretty good bed adhesion, though.
Yeah, a bit too good.
No need for glue on this one. I don't know why. Down Under Maker is the one who kept yelling at him, so blame them.
Oh, we're still going to spray some IPA on it. Spread it around.
I find it hilarious how he said probably about 40 minutes ago, hey, this is going to be a very talkative stream where I can pay more attention to the chat. You know, I don't think that happened.
No, I don't think it happened either. Okay.
Also, hey LTX, how you doing? He hasn't been able to say hi yet. He is back to the camera at the moment.
So our Z offset was definitely low. Now that we have that bed mesh in there properly. I think it still may be.
And the other thing we need to do down under is I want to get him a shotgun mic, which will help a lot with that, I think. So just gotta do it.
All right. Let's try the flow rate again now that we've kind of gotten that Z offset going. Let's see, what did I miss while my back was here? Hello, I had heard James say, but hello, LTX. Hello, WRX. How you doing as well? Let's see here. Mad Dog, are you going back and forth for number one again? Okay. You're at the DMV? I feel bad for you down under.
Honestly, I've been to the DMV twice recently because that new car I got, and around here they've been pretty fast. I was very surprised.
Now, you know, I've seen this used quite a few places, but, you know, I'd like to hear, because, you know, a lot of people did tell me not to use the BQ scraper on these beds, and I'm actually just kind of curious as to why, because it's not really a razor blade.
The only thing I can think is, I know they were saying you can use it on a flat bed, but not a textured bed. Maybe it's something to do with it digging up the texture? But
Maybe.
We'll see from chat.
Yeah, if you guys want to let me know. You know. Let's see. All right, so filament is sitting about 30% humidity, which in Florida is actually kind of nice because everything is moist in Florida.
That's what she said.
Okay, so, you know, we've got Gergman, which, you know, hey, PI are replaceable. Yeah, but if I don't have to replace it, I don't want to. But, you know, LTX, you use your Panda Edge on your bed, on the texture bed all the time. Just make sure you keep it flat, so you don't want to get that corner in. You want to make sure that it's nice and flat and not using it to dig, which I think is pretty much what Projects is saying. We're just waiting on this thing to heat back. Bed's almost heated back up, and then it's gonna home again.
You know what else is a bad habit that shouldn't be necessary? Vaping. But you know...
Yeah, it's a bad habit, but...
At the very least, it's not cigarettes, and that makes me happy.
We all have our vices. James can tell you, like, I never drink, so... Except for Mountain Dew, but I'm not much of an alcohol imbiber. I think James can count on one hand the amount of times he's seen me actually drink. John Doe, your vice is being stupid. That's a pretty tough vice.
We're social drinkers.
But at the same time, John Doe, I wouldn't say you're that stupid. Because a stupid person doesn't know that they're stupid. Here we go.
Not that the character's stupid, but it does make me want to go watch Waterboy. It's a really good movie.
So right now Hey Shrimp Father, how you doing? Yeah, right now I'm going through and watching The Legend of Korra again. Because I watched it when it was coming out on TV. And now I'm watching it all in order, and I did not realize how much of that show I missed as it was live.
Well, just wait till you get to the last season. I'm almost positive you didn't watch any of that, because you couldn't ever watch it live. You had to go onto the Cartoon Network website to watch it, because the network was not happy. For some stupid reasons, but...
Yep, so... Now... Okay.
I think I said Cartoon Network. Of course I meant Nickelodeon.
Okay. Now, something I'm going to bring up because it's been brought up to me. You know, I've teased one project that I have, which is the, you know, at this point people have guessed it, it's the Frax Flex arm. That was originally intended as my next project. But, you know, you guys are here, you guys are watching me. I do have another project sitting over there that we can do.
It's a heavy one.
It's a heavier one. It's another printer. So my question for you is would you know, if we get this thing tuned enough to print, the printer that I have sitting over there is going to, I still need to build it, but I'll say it's a bit more reliable.
It's the workhorse.
Yeah, than no, it's not a Soval, but it's a bit more reliable than, say, a Voron that you tinker with. So, you know, it is going to be the workhorse printer, the one, hey, I did a mod to this and something broke, so that was the one that's going to be up and working all the time. You know, let's see. Take the screen off, James. Put a poll up here.
I mean, it would be a 30-minute build if all the parts were printed.
Let's just see what you guys, because you guys are going to be the ones watching it. So, you know, so yeah, LTX, you know, once the parts are up, it's there, but it's going to be which one? Because
I mean, come on, you knew what they were going to choose.
No, I didn't, actually. Alright. So far, this is looking pretty good. Wish is looking better.
I don't know if that's correct for the word. Is that how you spell workhorse? I don't think it is.
No, it's not. I fat fingered it.
Making me second guess my sanity over here.
Well, Gergman, the Frax is 3D printer related because, you know, it's a 3D printed project that's used to put heat sets in. Or heat inserts in.
Nerf blaster now. As soon as this thing is calibrated, that's exactly what we're doing. Don't let the poll make you think otherwise.
License renewal with photo in and out. Good lord, Down Under, that is quick.
Like I said, my experience was pretty good too.
So,
Granted, completely different countries, but still.
yeah, Gergaming, I do know about that, not to live stream a foam flinger. Because YouTube likes to sit here and kick people off the ability to stream and everything if someone reports it. So don't know why they're fine with a video but not a live stream, but hey. Let's see here. I don't have access to this information, but how many people we got watching right now? Seems so. About half of you have sat here and answered the poll. But so far, the majority is saying after this one, do the, as I put it, the work hour C printer. I can English. Stand up, Mr. Quinn. All right, so we're about 2/3 now, so it would be a funny way to spell Prusa, wouldn't it, Howie? This first layer is definitely looking better now than it has for any other print, so that's making me happier. Before it was kind of spaced out a bit between the layer lines, so the squish wasn't quite there. Now they're kind of looking like they're actually merging together. So we'll see how this turns out. You're going to get a Mark IV, Cody, you're going to get a Mark IV S kit in the next few months. Hey, you know, a lot of people sit here and think, you know, Prusas are expensive, but it's, you know, the Prusa ecosystem, they do make a very good printer. You know, some of their hobbyist printers can be a bit pricey, but for a lot of people are running like little tiny businesses and everything on them, the reliability on them is more important for them than the price. I will say with the price difference between I do agree with Down Under Baker, the price, unless you're getting a really good deal on a Mark IVS kit, the price difference between the 4S kit and the Core 1, I would just save up the little bit extra for it. Yeah, and Cody, that's the whole point. You know, they are pricey, but they work. And that's what, you know, if you're a business or something like that, that's what you need. You don't need to be tinkering with it all the time. You just need something that you can sit here and tell it to print and it's going to work. Oh yeah, I can actually read the numbers this time, unlike last time. So this is looking a lot better. Yep. It's just like I remember people, when I sat here and first started looking into this hobby, you know, when it was like the one that everyone had back then was the wood printed maker bot, with the wood paneling and all that. And for your average person, it was like, this thing's expensive and all it does is spit out plastic. And you know, back then I think that was still like it was like $1,000 for that printer when I was looking into it. And so, you know, it was kind of pricey back then to get into the hobby. But nowadays you sit here and look at $1,000 printer and, you know, there's some pretty good features that you get with them. That being said, the lower end of the market has also come a long way. This carbon, from what I've seen, you know, Tom, or as you guys see him here, it's Cybertech, printing with his, and it's been doing great for him. The Creality K1, I've seen a few people do. They've been pretty good for the people that I've talked to. So we've come a long way. You know, from the days of MakerBots with laser cut wood panels to then, you know, getting things like the Ender 3, where you bought the Ender, then you modified it to make it so it would actually function. We've come a long way. But sometimes, you know, that extra price is worth paying because reliability, you know. It's just like when you go out, like I say all the time, I work IT and everything. So, you know, you can build a server for fairly inexpensive, but the support and the reliability is why companies will sit here and spend, you know, $10,000 on a server that looks like I could have built that for like $2,000. Well, it's the support and reliability that they're getting with it. Yeah, the Cheaty printers also. Those are another one that's kind of become a workhorse. Down under I grew up with a teacher, so I'm familiar with all those extra recertifications that you have to go through. So sometimes those certifications seem like, I just did this a year ago. Why am I having to do it again?
Because there's some pretty terrible people out there.
There
That's
are.
why.
There are some pretty terrible people out there. I mean, there's also, you know, over here in the States, you know, the teachers unions are pretty protective of the teachers. And when I was in school, there was definitely some teachers that probably shouldn't have been working anymore, but teachers are A, so hard to find here, and B, you know, so protected by the union that it's kind of hard to get rid of them. But their job is thankless, and I can tell you, having grown up with a teacher, it's not a job I can do.
For any age, I could not do it. Especially since I often say, I hate people, which is true. So, not for me.
Crash, bang, smash, meow, woof. Ah. Well, all I have to say about that is that poor cat and dog. Bergman, why'd you have to sit here and do something to the cat and dog? So, Bergman, that's actually what my mom taught, was high school English. And yet I can't spell. So, you know, going through, you know, especially when you're in high school, it can sit here and be very thankless. Or, all right. Cobbler's kids have no shoes. Oh, it'd be funny. He makes shoes for everyone, but not his family.
You know, it sounds great right now.
Peach cobbler. Yeah, it's kind of funny how schools are going. The high school I went to sat here and, you know, I got suspended for computer mischief when I was in school, and now they have a hacking program.
Okay, so auto mechanics do always drive old cars. I can't say they're old crappy cars though. They may not look the best, but they certainly run very well. That's coming from a family that's full of mechanics.
Sometimes it doesn't matter how it looks as long as it's reliable. That's so. Hey, Digital Dragon, how you doing? Bergman, that's so unfair. I wish well, I did get to play video games in school, but that's mostly because I sat here and, you know, I had to take typing in school, which I've never learned how to type properly. I type with 3 fingers on each hand, but went to the typing teacher and, you know, she saw how I was typing. She goes, "You're not typing properly." And I go, "I'm typing the way that works for me." She goes, "But it's not proper." And I go, and I just told her, "How about you give me your final exam? If I pass it, you give me an A in the entire course. And if I don't pass it, I'll learn your way of typing." She agreed. So they sat here and had some like stupid low minimum of like 15 words a minute to type, and I sat here and got 45 out and handed in the test, and she looks at me, looks at the test, looks back at me and says, "So what are you going to do for the rest of the year?" And I go, "Probably play video games."
So that brings up a question that I have for all of you. Have any of you just sat down and watched the YouTube series Video Game High School? Because it is amazing.
Digital Dragon is doing well. You just got home from the store. You got a Trudon V1 400 in for repairs. That could be interesting. Tandy Cocos. I sat here and started on a Commodore 64. I started learning typing on an actual typewriter. I did that at home because personal computers weren't really a thing. And the Commodore 64, I also didn't have a printer for, so didn't really make sense. So I started on a typewriter at home, and that really made you careful on what you were hitting, because whiteout, yes, you could use it, but it didn't look right afterwards.
My first version of Windows was Windows XP. Just saying.
Down under, you could already code, so typing class was an excuse to stare out the window. Yeah, I miss the days of like the Commodore of the C64, the Trash 80, overseas the Sinclair ZX. Those were the fun days of computing. You learned stuff with those. You actually had to program them and everything. Don't miss tape decks. I will say, you know, moving on to floppy disk and hard disk and solid state drives, and that's a definite improvement over tape decks, but it was fun.
I do miss that Windows XP though. Yes, it was my first Windows operating system. Boy, it was a lot of fun. Best version of Windows.
See, he likes that. My favorite version of Windows was Windows 3.1. You could still mess around with stuff there, and it was actually still running on DOS. Dot matrix printers, Mad Dog. Yep. Come listen to the screams of my people.
I absolutely did that, John Doe. I mean, it was CDs, but it was pretty much this exact same thing.
Can you tell there's an age gap between the two of us?
No, what are you talking about?
Here. Down under, I can't repeat that on stream, but
I mean, you could. You just shouldn't.
Yeah. And see, the funny thing is, Gergman, is, you know, a lot of the technology we have out right now has been around since the 60s, 70s, and 80s. We've just made it smaller and faster.
Oh man, old Toshiba laptop. I think the first laptop that I ever used was an old Gateway. Don't remember which OS was on it, if it was XP or 7. But it was an old Gateway. That thing was a beast. The best part about it is it had 2 power buttons for dual booting, and it would choose which OS based on which power button you had, or which one you pressed. Great. I miss that thing.
I miss Toshiba laptops. They were really well built. They lasted. It's too bad they had that battery issue. That pretty much put them out of business, having to recall pretty much every single laptop they had on the market.
Now I'm curious how much I could get one of those Gateway computers for. I just got to figure out which one it was. Again, I had 2 power buttons for dual booting. That should make it pretty easy to give it a look.
Down under, you're giving it too much credit. Most pocket calculators that we have nowadays are more powerful than what sent us to the moon. Yeah. But yeah, all these years later, you know, we've just been making them smaller and a little bit faster, but I mean, technologies like Wi-Fi, that's just, you know, it's radio, which we've had for, good Lord, multiple decades at this point.
Holy cow. Gateway still makes laptops?
Yeah, they got bought out multiple times. They're now a Walmart brand, I believe.
Not even. They're a Sam's Club exclusive. You can't even buy them at Walmart. It has to be Sam's Club.
No, you can get them. They have them at Walmart.
That's not what their website says.
Yep. So packet radio and all of that. I mean, heck, back when we still had, when telephone lines were the whole thing, microwave transmission was being done by AT&T as the backbone of the telephone system. Here in the States, the government said, hey, this needs to be nuclear proof, so they built it well. And once they built it up and had it to the standard, they just let it deteriorate.
Not that I actually expect anyone to know. Maybe you do. If any of you can come up with a model for what gateway laptop that might have been, let me know, because it's not coming up as easy as I thought it would. I'm still looking.
Other thing I did do to make sure that, you know, the mesh would not clear out, in LDO's printer config, as part of the print in process, it clears the bed mesh. I just commented that out so that way I don't have to worry about it. But once we get Cardo or something like that, or once we get Cardo on this thing, you know, that'll be going back in. That way you can do a bed mesh before each print. We're getting closer here. Yeah, I love how the slicer says this will take another 5 minutes and 45 seconds. The printer's estimated another 12 minutes. Yeah. You know, Down Under, I think when we build our next Voron, I'm gonna sit here and go straight into Cardo and CAN bus, and might sit here and have some fun with that. Because I do have plans on building another Voron.
Micron Plus.
Micron Plus, a V0. Actually, 2 Micron Pluses. That way I have one, and that way James can have one. James's is going to be purple.
Can't find dang laptop.
James is going to be looking for that laptop for the rest of the...
It's going to be all night.
And probably into tomorrow. So Seabor, I believe, does use, at least uses Cardo. Mad Dog can actually speak more to the Seabor kit, because I know he built a 2.4 that was a Seabor kit. Mad Dog, did yours use CAN bus on it, or was it USB? Because I know it had Cardo. It had the Seabor Cardo on it. If Mad Dog's still here. I'm betting he's here. I just don't know if he's actively here.
Wondering if I just dreamed up this laptop at one point. I don't know.
Oh, we're doing the circle top finish now. We're getting to those top layers. All right, so yeah, Seabor, yeah, if Mad Dogs was CAN bus, then Seabor is CAN bus and Cardo. Yep, and there we go. Mad Dog confirmed it. So Gergman, if you go Seabor, it will be CAN bus Cardo. I will say, you know, when I built this Voron, you jump through a bunch of different manuals. From what I understand, Seabor, you jump through a bit more. are staying pretty steady on heat. Okay. James, John Doe is saying look up the Gateway Solo 2300.
Let's see.
Or it might be the 5300. Gargman, the community is definitely a great help and everything. I can say I've had a lot of help with this thing, you know, watched a lot of videos before I built it, and I had a lot of conversations off stream with people to sit here and get the parts that I don't, try to get a handle on more on the parts that I don't know, which is especially Clipper and all that. Because the physical building I've been building stuff for years, so you know the practices you use on certain things translates over to others. So that was actually easy, but Clipper is one of those ones where if you haven't used it before, there's a bit of a learning curve, but slowly getting into it. Let's see. All right, we got, I think, 3 more of these things to do. Getting closer there.
That's close, John Doe. I think it was a little bit newer, though. Let me keep looking here.
Was that the 2300 or the 5300?
5300.
He's got you another. John's got you another model. Here.
If I can find one of these for sale, by the way, I will probably end up buying one just for fun, and we'll see what happens from there.
All right, we have a successful print. Okay. So, trying to think the best way to show you guys. Oh, your first ID job was done exclusively on Gateway? My first one was, they had a contract with Dell. Come around the front here. We are probably going to go top down, but I'm just trying to think of the best way to get it up there.
That's what he said.
We're going to take the top panel off. Put that down over there right now. I'll lay it over the corner here. Can you guys can see that. So
I don't know if it was black or silver. I think I remember it being silver.
I'm looking. And the ones that are actually looking good to my eye are these 3 here. Gonna let that cool down a bit so I can actually hold it, and I'll hold it up for you guys. But yeah, the plus 0.01, the 0, and the minus 0.01. My eye, maybe the plus.
So John Doe, this laptop was from when I was like maybe 6 or 7. so I can't say with 100% certainty what color it was. The big defining feature, though, was the 2 power buttons for dual booting.
Let me go around the desk here so I can hold that up to you guys. All right. Don't know how much detail is that capturing, but the three on the left are looking pretty good to me.
Maybe? I wish I had solid answers for you guys.
Looking, because if I'm correct, we're trying to look where the layer lines are just starting to merge into each other. Where we're not seeing any valleys or peaks. If I'm wrong on that, please someone correct me. Again,
Also keep in mind, I may have completely hallucinated this laptop into existence also. So if it hasn't been a gateway with like 2 power buttons, then that's fine if I made it up.
so far, the middle row, the left, the 2 left, and the one next to those are what are kind of looking good for me.
I mean, but as much as I feel like I'm hallucinating about this, maybe I am ChatGPT. Who knows?
Tom, which points, the plus 0.05, which is this one, or the minus 0.05? Because the 0.05 has like a little ridge around that circle. It's which one feels the smoothest. Okay. All right. Okay, because yeah, that plus 0.05, where it starts that inner ring, there is a raised ring there. Here. Tom is telling me plus 0.05. Let me just trying to sit here and release this from the plate. I'm hearing it release. There we go. Ooh, this is really sticking up by those numbers. There we go. See here. I'll regret using fingernails. My Z may still be a bit. Oh no. Hey, cool. The print pull, that was part of that failed print before. Let me Go ahead, I'm not putting any pressure down on this. Yeah, this thing does work well, and I'm, like I said, I'm not putting any pressure. I thought that first layer was a bit high on that 0.05, but that was just some of the residue from that one that was printed a bit close, and it actually kind of cleaned that up a bit for me. Okay. So, let me put our build plate back on.
That door is so going to fall off.
One of these days it will. But today is not that day. Slide our bed back in. I think James just wants the world to burn.
Of course.
All right. So let's see here. One tuning test. Let's going back here. It's could have been a Gateway 2000. Let's see. You don't think James is that old, Tom? 150. It does 50 or 100 millimeter extrudes, 50 or 100 millimeters, then pressure advance. Let's see here. Yeah, he could have given it. So John, the we're still doing the tuning, but we could print it, but I actually have the hinges on their way. They're supposed to be here tomorrow. So all right, so this 0.5, there is a bit of a lip, but like Tom said, we've lost the gap around the edges, and the layers are actually pretty smooth on top. That little lip could just be our might be a bit of over extruding. Let's see here. I'm just lining these things up. It's kind of weird because in the positive direction, the Orca Slicer does a 0.01, a 0.02, a 0.03, and a 0.04. But in the negative, and a 0.05, in the negative, it does 0.01, 0.02, 0.04, 0.05. Yeah, surface-wise, I'm just feeling for the smoothness here. That glue will permanently be on those doors. Oh, thankfully it's painter's tape, so yeah. Oh, we'll just go with the 0.05. So now here's the next big question. Tom, Where do I put that 0.05 adjustment in? Because you know how I'm doing this, how I want to do it through the printer config. What setting does that go under? Yep, so printer config, okay. Extruder. Okay. Yep, and I'm just looking that up for me. So, and if this doesn't work, we can always, like you guys have been saying, we can always adjust it later, but this will let us move on to the next test. So while I'm waiting on that, let's go back into Orca, delete that, and actually get our next test, which pressure advance 0.05. Okay, so yep, so we'll just uncomment that, pressure advance 0.05. There we go. And then we'll take this, we'll uncomment the pressure advance smooth, because I don't know why these were commented out, but do that. Save and restart. Okay, we've got that done. Okay, we have a direct drive extruder. Oh, if I'm correct, the pressure advance pattern, that's the one with the little V's on it, correct? Where it prints out the little box and it's V's and you take a look at the tips and everything. Bergman saying to do the lines, not the... All right, do the line. Okay, so we'll do the lines. We're starting at 0, ending at 0.1, and the steps are 0.002. And we've told it to print the numbers. That look like a good setup for lines, guys? Just the default? Yeah, we'll see, because the V1 always seemed like it was an easier one to read, but we'll sit here. We previously... Where did my... That doesn't look right.
What did you break this time?
Slice. Okay, there we go. Slice the plate. That was weird. It just showed PA test on it. Okay. Well, let's get our lid back on there so we don't lose the heat while we're printing. Print. Upload and print. This says it's going to be about 6 minutes after it heats up. That would explain why it didn't show a model until I hit slice. See, these are the things that I haven't really done before because I had an Ender before and I never messed with Ender 3 before, and I didn't get a chance to even mess with this. So I am really thankful for all of you guys out here in the community helping me out here. But I will. Oh, having a big heater in a very small room in Florida, not the most comfortable thing. Did you just see the last comment, James?
Maybe.
All right. Now, okay, so we do still have the retraction test and the max flow rate to do. Got that one ready to go. Heating up here. I'm kind of glad this thing does cool down fairly quickly.
Fans are a modern miracle.
Yeah, it's not really even using the fans. Just had the room cool enough that, hey, when it's not actively heating, it can actually cool down. So, hey James, can you mute me real quick?
Hopefully, by summer, we'll be in a new studio. We'll see, though.
Hey. Gergman, I'm not looking forward to summer. It's actually a nice temperature outside right now, and so yeah. And soon we're going to be getting a new studio. And that's going to be a converted garage, so AC is going to be a must in there, and that thing's going to be running almost all the time. Because in Florida, if you have a garage, they don't finish them, and they're not insulated or sealed, so, or insulated or finished, so I've got to put some insulation up on the walls and do that. John Doe, Fahrenheit or Celsius? I'm betting Fahrenheit, but in this community, you can never tell when numbers are that low. Okay, Fahrenheit. I've been in weather that cold before. I had to go to North Carolina to find it. Actually, no. I've been in that weather that cold here in Florida. Once.
3 weeks ago.
Nah, I wasn't down to 14.
No, but it did get down into the low 20s.
No, Gergman, snow's a myth. Doesn't happen. When did Dragon it's one of the weird weird things. You kind of get used to the humidity and everything, but I can definitely say, you know, living in Florida, AC is not a nice to have, it's a must have to live down here. But it was actually funny because I remember I was up in Massachusetts in brain farting. I'm brain farting on the town name.
I haven't been listening to a thing you said, so I can't help you.
Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of the town in Massachusetts with the...
Boston.
No, it was outside of Boston. Closer to New Hampshire than it was Boston.
What did it have?
It was originally known for its textiles and still has a textile mill. And then it sat here and became a train town. And I believe in the PWHL, they're building it. They're actually building the stadium there for their PWHL team.
Not talking about Waltham, are you?
No. I can't. Lowell. Yeah, we were actually in Lowell, and the humidity there was something like 53 degrees, and we started talking to a crossing guard cop that was, you know, helping the kids get across the streets during school. And he's like, and it was October, and he was complaining about the humidity, and my partner and I were just like, nah, it's perfect out here. He's looking at us like we're crazy. He goes, you guys aren't from around here, are you? I go, no, we're from Florida. He goes, oh, now I know why you don't think it's humid.
Gergman, I'm totally not using Gemini to try and help me figure out what laptop that was. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Thanks, Armor. Yeah, speaking of Massachusetts. Yeah, I was just talking about Lowell up there, Armor. Yeah, it's actually funny because if anybody lives near Massachusetts or in Massachusetts or gets a chance to go there, Lowell's actually make sure that's out of the way so it doesn't flip on anything. The textile museum there is actually a very nice place to go, because unlike other museums where they gloss it over like, oh look, this was industry and it did so many great things, they actually have testimonials for people that worked there that were actually talking about, you know, how terrible it was to work in there unless you were one of the bosses. But they actually still have the equipment there that's been there forever, and it's actually up and running to the point where you can actually buy from the gift shop dish towels that are made on the machines there to this day. So it was kind of interesting. But when the textile industry kind of fell apart, they pivoted from textiles to train locomotives. So bit of a weird turn there. Snow in Boston? Wow. Good luck with your meeting, Mad Dog. I had seen some reports that it was supposed to be getting pretty bad up there, but good Lord, 18 to 30 inches of snow. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I don't live up there. I don't think I could survive up there. James wants to move back up there. He's a northerner.
I'd rather be on the West Coast, honestly.
Oh, it's actually funny. I was watching one of those little YouTube videos where it's like, yeah, we're gonna describe like every single accent in the US, and I still remember the way they described Maine's accent, because it was probably the best one I've ever heard. They described the Maine accent as, it's Boston, but less drunk. Okay, I think our Z is still a bit off. I think I just heard scraping. Yeah, we're definitely off on the Z, so I'm going to raise that up. There we go. So I'm going to actually save that, and I'm going to start this print over. Because with that Z offset being off, I want to make sure we have that in, because I was definitely hearing some scraping there. Thankfully, it does not look like we went mining, but it was certainly not a sound I wanted to hear. Jurgman, I did hit the save. We're gonna go save config. You're right. Let it restart. Okay. I'm going to give this a little bit of weight. We're going to pull it away from the heat. Spray some ISO on it. Kind of give that a bit of cooling, but also, yeah, that Z was definitely too close. Let's see here. Mike, yeah, throw a carbide nozzle on this, and then I'll have a nice little mill. All right, and again, I'm not pushing down. I'm literally just letting it rest on top and trying to catch it. So I'm all right. I'm going to try and let that cool to see if it'll release. Release the print some. So, hey. I apparently pulled my magnet out of the bottom of this. So this little bottom magnet I pulled out somehow.
Super glue.
All right, and again, I'm not pushing down or anything. I'm just kind of letting it float over the top. All right, now that we're not on the bed, gonna give it some ISO, let it soak in there a bit, and then air dry. Well, not quite air dry. Let's see here. Bergman, yeah, we're printing ABS. Okay. I'm just trying to get under a side here so I can get this stuff off, but the ISO definitely helping. I think it was one of our door.
Yeah, seriously, we have a table for a reason.
Whoever mentioned putting ISO on the bed to help get this stuff off, thank you. It actually really works.
Oh, he has a filament dryer, that's for sure.
Yeah, there is a filament dryer on this. Down under, I am being very careful not to spray that ISO on the panels. That's why I have it in a spray bottle, and I'm keeping it close to it so I don't get an overspray onto those panels. Mike said that? Oh yeah, Mike. Sorry about that. I'm reading over my shoulder right now. All right, we're gonna switch over to the other side. Grab a fresh cloth here. Sorry about this, guys. The little things. For anybody that hasn't been 3D printing, the little things that they don't show you a lot on the streams is, you know, hey, a mistake happened. How do you fix it? Well, sometimes it comes off easy. Sometimes it doesn't. Well, what you might do I'm afraid to do like we did on the other tests, where just to print over this. I'm afraid that that's going to throw off the test itself if I still have stuff on there. See here. Good night, Gergman. Have fun at work tomorrow, if you can. Howie, that is a great idea. We'll do that. We'll do that cube. And that cube can make it so that it can stick to the stuff, but I'm gonna give it a quick little spritz with some ISO because I was touching this, and while I know this doesn't clean it, we can at least move some of those oils and evenly distribute it. I think James is still waiting for one of these panels to fall off. Let's see here. Tip for new players, always set brims and skirts to 2 layers. So it's thick enough to peel with your fingers. Yep, that would definitely be helpful. All right, well, we're gonna sit here and do that single layer print that I was doing earlier to test the Z offset. What we're also gonna do is increase our speed factor to 150% because I'm not worried about the quality of this. I just needed to print a nice fine layer so that way when I peel it up, it'll pull those off. Screaming kids and photos are not a fun combination. All right. So we're just waiting for things to heat up. So what fun prints is everyone else working on? I know Down Under is doing his Trident right now. If Projects in Dad's Garage is here, he's working on that Ender NG. John Doe, I know you're working on I think you're working on a CNC machine. Let's see here. Gonna get that off to the side. Well, congratulations, Down Undermaker. I had no doubts on that one. Mike is Mike's getting closer to getting that box turtle done. It's looking amazing. How's the wiring going, Mike? All right, so John Doe's working on his CNC and making a pencil holder for it in Tinkercad. Howie, you got your NG skirts printing. You're putting Vitali coal carriage or XL? I am not familiar with COL. David print. Yep, I saw David doing that MMU3 the other night. That was actually a really cool stream, David. You're just printing random multicolored stuff now after getting that? Mike's wiring's starting to look good. All right. Bed's getting back up to temperature. Now, Mike, is it looking mostly clean or is it looking clean to your standards? 'Cause I know you have pretty high standards when it comes to wiring. Nice. Nice, Armor. It's always nice when you finish a project and there's no hiccups. I'm like this, but this is more due to my inexperience, I will say. But the only way to gain experience is by making mistakes. Oh, it's that picture that you posted in Discord, Mike. That was looking pretty clean. Night Armor, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the compliment on the 2.4. Have fun getting Mini and Micro Armor down to bed. Yeah, for those of you that don't stream or anything, you get to see these builds being done and everything. But there's one difference between building this off stream and building it on stream. Off stream, you can sit here and kind of clean as you go, make sure things are nice and neat. On stream, it's kind of throw it in the corner. Let's keep going. Oh, Mike, you're going to do a V0? All right, Down Under, have fun getting your picture taken. Now, Mike, are you going to do a stock V0? Or are you going to do one of the projects or the Printers for Ants mods? Or stock V0? Hey James, what are we looking at? How many people are watching?
I am more than knee deep in trying to figure out this laptop thing.
I told you guys he'd be on this for hours.
ADHD. I think I'm close. I gotta find a decent picture to verify it.
Okay, so our bed's up to temp. Just in case, since we're doing this again, I'm just gonna stay over the Z offset just to make sure that there's a. Okay, yeah, Mike. From what I hear, it's better to pick out those mods on the V0 before you start than to do them afterwards. And Howie, thanks for the update on the viewers. You know, those of you that are here, I hope you're getting entertainment and everything. So I'm trying, you know, professional streamer type thing, which I guess I can't even call myself professional streamer because I don't sit here and collect a paycheck. So not a profession. Yep. We're using this print to clear it off. Let's see here. So you're going to be doing physical end stops on it. I was like, V0 uses, I haven't looked much into it, so you know, one of those things if you don't do research, you can't really tell, but it uses sensorless mic. Or traditionally uses sensorless. Okay. Well, that'll be a fun thing to experience when I build my V0. One of these days I'll build it. One of these days I'll get this to a point where I consider it good enough to be done. I'm hoping today will be that day. I mean, as long as it's well documented, you know, that'll be nice.
Okay, so I haven't been able to verify it because for the life of me, I can't find a picture or anything about the extra button that I'm looking for. But I think it was a Gateway NV58. It had like a textured design on the backplate. And I think what I'm remembering is there was the main power button. And then there was, like some laptops had, like some of the Dells had, and I think this Gateway had it as well, a social or a media button, which kind of brought up a not full version of Windows that you could do certain things in. And I think with that media button, you could kind of quote unquote hack it to make it run Linux on pressing that media button. I think that's what I'm remembering. I just can't find anything to verify it.
I know Sony had a feature like that for a bit.
Sony had it and Dell had it, and those I can find to verify, but I'm 90% sure it was a Gateway, and I think it was the Gateway NV58, but I don't know if that was just a very obscure model or something, but I cannot find basically any pictures of it for the life of me.
I'm going to go a bit higher on that offset. Listening here. look at the little squish that we're getting. Squish is looking good. Let it go through and do its print. Mike, who's Gorp? Let's see, Mike, you got tired of Fusion taking your system resources while trying to do anything else at the same time? Fusion, from what I understand, is very resource intensive. Haven't had much time in it yet, but we're gonna work on getting it installed on this thing. Fortunately, for some reason, the Fusion website doesn't want to let me download it from Firefox. So I'm gonna have to download it in Chrome or something like that. From what I understand, most of these CAD softwares are like anything else. Nothing's perfect, so it's, you know, finding the one that works best for you. What little idiosyncrasies are you willing to deal with? Oh, you're willing to deal with none. Oh. Well, then, John, write your own CAD modeler. That'll solve those issues. Just write your own. Hey, James, can you take the computer screen off real quick? Give me a second here. I'm actually going into Autodesk as we speak. Hey, James. Zip code again? Let's see if this will download on Chrome. It wouldn't download through Firefox. Let's see here. Find a Linux software and install Linux instant faster old computer. Pretty much. Yeah, Mike, I mean, if you can get it working on Linux, you can honestly take like a 14-year-old computer and it'll run perfectly fine with Linux. You throw Windows on it, it's going to run terrible. We're just going to let that go in the background. No Lightburn updates on Linux. That can make it a bit hard when the software you want to use, the company doesn't support your particular operating system. And running a software like that in Wine would not be the greatest thing, I think. Well, the good thing is it's at least sticking to the build plate now. Knock on wood.
Crank up that speed.
Oh, I have. We're actually running 150%. Yeah. I wish more companies would sit here and support Linux, but some companies don't want to do it. So, James, what are you thinking for dinner tonight?
I am so far into this laptop rabbit hole that I cannot think about dinner right now. I feel like I'm right on the cusp of it. I really do. And Mike, I'm pretty sure everyone dislikes the subscription model for software, except the companies who own the software.
All right, so John Doe's working on a workflow for FreeCAD and his CNC. I could say this thing's like, I know I'm not pushing speeds or anything, but it's running fairly quiet too. I mean, the AC is louder than the printer. So that's kind of cool. Got another 6 minutes left on this, it says. Or now let's round it up 7 minutes. And we'll just let it cool down so it kind of self-releases. Let's see. Not much chat going on. But yeah, so what we'll do, you know, based on what everyone said, instead of doing the fracs next, we will sit here and build another printer. Thankfully, it's sitting right over there. So we can get that up and going. And while we're working on that printer, maybe I can have, if this one's tuned enough, maybe I can have this one printing out parts for the fracs while we're working on that one. So for those of you that were here for the discussion earlier, yeah, it's not too many parts for the fracs. I've just got to go through and open up the CAD model to see which parts I need to print, because I need to see whether I need the socket head parts or the flathead parts, because the kit I have has actually both kinds of screws in it. So it's like, okay, which one am I supposed to be printing here?
I don't know, Penguin. Do you want to tell them what printer it is?
I will say I will let you guys guess as to what printer it is.
And Cody, since I don't think you were here earlier, the hint I'll give you is we're referring to it as the workhorse printer.
But based on the screws that I have in here, I'm pretty sure that I need to print out the flathead parts for the fracs. Yeah. Cody got to build up that hype around coming out to the next printer to see, because hopefully we can get this thing tuned in all the way to tonight, because then we might be able to give a little preview. Maybe show brand and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm kind of curious, as from the conversation earlier, if anybody knows what we're going to be building next. Mike, you missed the conversation earlier. You had your phone in the other room. Let's see here. Let's see here. John Doe, step file, FreeCAD, mesh, shape, solid, great job, generate tool paths, G code for tools, load into Camatics to test, send G code. That's a pretty detailed workflow. Okay. Well, we finished printing that. So let's get that build plate
So,
off of there so we can start cooling down.
for those of you who were around for the conversation earlier, such as John Doe, I am at this point 90% positive that it was a Gateway NV52, and what someone in my family had done is remapped the quick start button on the keyboard that usually boots into a very light version of Windows to a Linux partition. I'm 90% positive that's what it was.
All right, so we're going to let that layer cool there for a bit so that way it hopefully releases it a bit better. And while we're waiting on that, gonna save that config that we did for the offset. Because yeah, when we raise that, yeah, it's definitely looking better. And with the other setting we did with that pressure advance, I'm seeing more connections between the outer wall layer and the inner layer, so that's good. How you doing, Wick Central? Welcome in. We are waiting. We had a bit of my Z offset was a bit too low when we did the pressure advance test, so it kind of dug into it, but it didn't go mining. It just really sat here and attached to the build plate.
I was too young to remember which OS it was, but if I had to wager a guess, it was probably Debian. Now my issue is going to be finding one that I can buy. Yeah, and like I said, John Doe, I'm pretty sure what the case was with the dual booting is they had a standard Windows partition on the normal, boot of the laptop. Couldn't tell you which Windows, but on the quote unquote hidden partition that it boots into when you press the Q button, the quick start button, or whatever they call it. That's the partition that they changed out to OS. To be honest, I can't believe I even remembered any of that, so surprise myself. healing.
That pulled all that stuff right off. So,
Boy, did that sound terrible, though.
yeah. But the good news is, I didn't destroy a bed or build plate, which makes me happy.
Yet.
I'm gonna come back around here. Spray some ISO. Wipe it around. Open our doors. And then we're going to retry that pressure advance print. Raise our
John Doe, this isn't a cast iron pan here. We don't want to add flavor to our prints.
Okay. I'm afraid I just heard what James said, and so I'm afraid to read the comment, but I will read it. Let's see. Oh, seasoning the bed. Yep. It's definitely been seasoned now. Let's see here. Oh, John Doe likes to leave a little bit so the next one sticks better. Well, these have been sticking pretty well. Yeah, Mike, I'm probably going to be doing a whole bed print. And after stream and everything, I'll probably give this a good clean with soap and water.
I cannot express to you guys how relieved I am that I finally figured it the frick out. That was going to haunt my nightmares for the next 3 weeks if I did not figure out what laptop that was.
He's not joking. He would sit here and stay up and like, oh look, it's 5 a.m. I have to be at work at 7. Okay, let's go to bed now, get a couple hours sleep, go to work, get off work, and keep looking for it. So Cody, the tape doors are there because when you purchase a kit and functional printed parts, the clips and everything aren't considered functional parts. So, you know, this is my only printer that's even up and printing. So, you know, I had no way of printing those clips. So, one of our community mentors, how we do it, sat here and sent me the panel clips, but the door clips were printed but just didn't make it to the package, so they're on their way. And USPS dropped the ball. They were supposed to be delivered yesterday, and I guess at some point they misplaced my package, and so now they're not being delivered till tomorrow. So the tape makes it so that they stay on with the 2 center clips while I'm waiting for the side the door hinges. Hey JD, how you doing? Nice. I don't think I've seen your name here before. I have. I'm very terrible with names. Names and dates, I'm terrible with. James can sit here and tell you that when we first met, it was probably 3 months before I could remember his name.
That's nothing. I don't even know my own name.
All right, so we're waiting for this thing to heat back up so we can print out this pressure advance test. Let me see here. That's that. All right. Somehow my Linux computer connected to our receiver. And I've never connected it to it. So. Yeah. But Mike, yeah, like you said, you know, I could have printed them out of PLA and then reprinted them, or I even have a resin printer. I've been told I could have printed them out of that, but they're on their way, so we're gonna do that. But all right, so we're trying the pressure advance tape. Yeah, John, tape is also cheaper. Especially when you can when you have multiple sources for it. I'm getting a sandwich. All right. Finish your quad gantry. I want you to print. Mike, thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good night's rest. Good luck at work tomorrow. Yeah, John, it definitely does make a good seal. I remember when we sat here and apparently didn't like that corner. But it apparently liked it enough. But I remember the first time I did a heat soak on this, I think I got it up to like 75C in here. So I'm like, that's a pretty good seal. Mike. Aluminum duct tape. Yeah, that would make a pretty good seal too. All right. We're printing out the pressure advance. I still think my Z is a bit close. It is. How is it? I'm saving the config. We're gonna see here. Yeah. Gundo does what load each print? Here, so yeah, raising that little bit seemed to help. We'll see what happens here. If it doesn't work this time, I might go back to feeler gauge to set the Z offset. Yeah, something's not. Yeah, we're pausing this. Yeah. Something is definitely not right. James, can we get the overhead real quick? I don't know if you guys can see that, but like I'm missing layers and everything. It's definitely. We are going to. Eight maps loaded. Looking out for food. They're butter burgers. Okay, so I have no idea why this keeps going. So if we go here, I raise that Z offset, hit save, hit OK. Does this after printing, click on save config. So let's stop this. We're gonna hit save config. We go, and I'm gonna have to print that full sheet again to get the stuff off. I know this is riveting, guys. I do apologize. I have no idea why this keeps doing, especially when it keeps saving on us. Didn't save the last time, it looks like. So that was the one I just did. Those are the probes. It did save last time, so yep. Let's go and there is I'm just going to do a quick little home here, and it's going to home beforehand, but I'm doing that so I can raise this up because there is a booger on the nozzle. From that print. Definitely a booger on the nozzle in that last print, so that would throw off the Z probe when it homed. So I got that off. Cardo and a nozzle wiper, that's what I need here. Howie, the nozzle is tight. That I do know. Okay. Turtle brush, easy building config. I'll have to look that up. Let me look at that up real quick. Turtle brush. Yeah, that would be a nice one to do. Especially once I go Cardo, because I can just use where the clicky probe was to put that in its place. And it looks like it uses the silicon nozzle wiper, so that would be really nice instead of using the brass ones. Yeah, that might be a nice little thing to do. So I'll have to look up getting that kit. Okay, so we are printing, or we're homing at least. Now we're gonna gantry level. Like, all I want to do is get through these calibrations. I might eat on the street. Okay. That front corner right now, it's really not liking, but it's getting it after a few tries, so. Go to and Howie. Yeah, this definitely seems like this is printer life. Yeah, and okay, what the heck? Okay, I'm gonna have to go through and recalibrate Z offsets and everything. I don't think you guys want to see me do that, because even after that, it was still dragging. So
just gotta sit down, put your head into it, and
yeah,
figure it out on your own.
I think this is going to be something that I'm going to do off stream. Redo the Z calibration, because you guys have already seen me go through that once. I'm not going to put you guys through that again.
So what I think is going to end up happening is, probably my guess is at the beginning of next stream, we'll see the progress we got here. Probably be up and printing by that point, and after that progress check-in, maybe start our next project. We'll see.
Yeah. Are you restore G-code state to the Lincoln Street? James, if you'd, thank you. Look up screen chat. So yes, that macro is in the print code. So I'll pull it up here and I'll printer config. So yeah, if we go to the start, the print start macro. Hey, down under. So yeah, you can see. Oh, let me show this real quick. So if we go here, you know, the G-code 32, which is the homing one that it calls for the print start, you know, it does save the state with the name 32, restores the name of 32. So that's done right at the beginning of the print start. Then it goes to a G90, then it loads the bed mesh profile. It does my prime line. And then print in state has a G-code state and a restore G-code state. Yeah, down under, we're having some fun here because we print something, we raise the Z offset, we save it, go to print something else, and I'm hearing that slight grinding against the build plate again the next print, even though we've actually hit the save config button up at the top. Each time it sits here and doesn't seem like it's saving. So but John Doe, you're saying that restore G-code state can mess with that? Let me see here. Clipper firmware. Give me a second here while I read through this here real quick. Print in. Macro uses save G-code state and the restore G-code. Also restores the save G-code offset, which could result in incremental changes to offsets between print jobs rather than resetting the base offset. The set set G-code offset command effectively resets the positional offset of the Z-axis to 0 by ensuring all subsequent G-code commands will execute without any Z-axis offset. This resets the baseline for Z-axis positioning, allowing subsequent print jobs to adjust from a known starting point.
So basically what it sounds like is you just need to raise your base Z offset. I think. Says the one who knows nothing.
Okay, so I'm not sure if the Z offset's in the bottom section. Let's see if offset. Okay. X offset. Z offset 6.42 is in the probe section. Okay, that's the offset for the probe. But there is no Z offset parameter anywhere in here. So down under, you're saying remove the save G code and restore G code. So just like comment these out and then comment that out. And that, and that'll just get rid of the offsets in the green bit at the very bottom. Separate Z position offset 0.23. Okay, so the only change I've done is that G-code save state name. I've commented out. Let's do this. I'm just going to look at that. So the current is 0.23. I'm just gonna hit save without restarting. I'm gonna go up to our dashboard. And since we have a print going, let's raise it by 0.04. Save. So once I stop this print and hit save config, let's go and see if that thing is actually saving. The machine. Printer config. See here. And now I'm not seeing Z offset. Okay. What's going on here? Probe, that's just the PID control stuff. At the very bottom, all I'm seeing is stepper Z position in stop, which that might have been what I was looking at before, because that went from 0.23 to 0.19, which would be a 0.4 increase. And that would make sense because changing the where it thinks the end stop is would change the offset. All right. So down under, you're saying Z offset's down at the. Everyone's saying the Z offset is down here, and the only thing that I'm seeing is the position in stop. Which when I change my Z offset, that's what's changing, is the position in stop. Let's see. Well, let me go back to that automating. That's macro print end. Set G code offset. Okay, so that's saying, yeah, slice initiate, observe the Z offset during the print. But the toolhead card is shown. So Z offset should be shown. Current Z offset is 0. I think that's because it is changing where it thinks the probe is. Let me just do a home here real quick so I can move the Z up. And get that stuff off the nozzle. Heat up the nozzle here, because that has hardened. Here. Looks like you may have 2 save config sections. It looks like there was another up top. Oh, it looks. So Cody's saying it looks like I may have 2 save config sections. It looked like there was another up top. We'll take a look at that here in a second. Let me let this heat up so I can get the booger off. Let's pull it back down now that the booger's off. That was definitely too close when that printed. See here. Yeah, I had done that, but let's see if we can find it. Let's try it again. Machine. Okay, now that's a really good idea. Okay, dashboard, console. Store G-code state. Unknown G-code state default. There's an unknown G-code state because I think there's actually other commands after that. Okay, so yeah, we don't have a stored state at this. So just search for Z offset. That pulls up nothing. Offset. Z in stop switch offset for Z0. Stepper Z section. probe the offset. And there should be something under stepper Z. That's just running the Z and stop calibrate, which we did. And that has a position in stop. And that's what it's saving at the very end. Be right back. Be right back. Have to swap out mics real quick. All right, can you guys hear me again? We just swapped out mics. So down under, that's actually the entire print start. Yeah, John Doe, we are using Clicky Probe. Or Cody, we're using Clicky Probe. See here. Yeah, it calls the G32 macro, which is just this up here, which does a G28 home, a quad gantry level, and then moves the print head to the center of the bed. Then it loads the bed mesh. Then it does my prime line. Night, John Doe. That's it. Looks like it's doing the position in stop for the Z offset. A lot of people are going to bed, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print another one of those squares so I can peel it up to get this thing off. You know, so no, Clicky's not actually used. I'm not doing using the probe to do the Z offset. I am using the Z in stop and then setting the in offset from that. I'm not using the probe. But what I'm gonna do, I'll go ahead and print this, and I'll probably hop on a call with some people, sit here and talk this out and see if we can get this printer config cleaned up and everything, and see where it goes. So a lot of people are also having to go to bed, so with that, I was hoping to get the tuning all done tonight, but this Z offset thing is being a pain. But thanks for joining me and everything. We'll see you here next week. We might do a bit more on this, or we might go on to the next printer. We'll see how things go,
Or a bit of both.
Hopefully I can sit here and be like, hey, this is what happened, we got this all done, this printer's tuned in, and we can start on the next project. But with that, I've been Penguin Maker, and I have to tell y'all, go make something.